Your strength training has to be coupled with flexibility training so that it is functional relative to the art that you're doing. And we do something that is essentially functional. Onegaishimasu. Welcome back to the Goju Karate Center. Today, a little supplementary training, maybe a basic introduction to a very, very special piece of Goju equipment, the Kongoken. Today, for the sake of making sure I can demonstrate clearly, I'm using the lightest Kongoken in my dojo. It is a steel ring. It's approximately 5 foot in height. And this one weighs around about 20 kilograms. And it is a really useful tool. It has been fabricated 2 halves, and they would turn a section, slightly thicker grip, and they've tried to keep it uniform. And this is the one I'm going to use for demonstrations. I'm also going to make use of a plate weight with cutouts, parallel cutouts, so that we can replicate some of the exercises, and this might be a cheaper and more readily available option for some people. The Kongoken, as the story goes, was derived as an implement from Miyagi Choshin Sensei's trip to Hawaii. And while he was in Hawaii, he noticed that the sailors were busy training and wrestling and manhandling the links of the chain that attaches to the anchor on the ships. And they were using it, A, as strength and conditioning training, maybe, or B, they were probably working on in the shipyard, working on the boats and manhandling these pieces to be joined and fitted, etc. So one of 2 options. But by and large, the general accepted story is that he noticed that the sailors, especially the sailors interested in wrestling, were manhandling and were effectively wrestling with the steel link. He went back to Okinawa and devised something that looked similar from round metal, basically bent and crudely welded or joined together. One of my great joys in life was to spend some time at the Jundokan Shohonbu Dojo and to train with one particular Kongoken, which is said to have come directly from Miyagi Sensei. And that is part of the original tools and implements that were handed over to Miyazato Sensei on Miyagi Sensei's death. So this is what the Kongoken looks like. This one's a little bit squarish. Hold on for a sec.
A few moments later.
This one is significantly heavier than that one. And if you notice, this one has a beautiful rounded top. And it doesn't have any thinning. It is uniform, solid metal Kongoken. I would love to know where these came from originally in South Africa. So if there are any South Africans out there, I heard a rumor that maybe Sensei Tony De Beer is the man who's responsible for the fabrication of these, and I think they may have been made at Pelindaba. So if you happen to know the origins of the stainless steel or chromed Kongoken, the solid metal Kongoken that are floating around South Africa, please drop me a comment. I'd love to know. They are truly beautiful. You know, they're uniform. Our dojo and our sister dojo have 2. So that's between myself and Sensei Mario. And Sensei Mario is using the original one that belonged to our dojo, which was from Paul Andre Sensei's time. And this particular Kongoken comes from the late Sensei Bram Pierns in Potchefstroom. This one is tickle under 40 kilograms. I think it's 37.5 kilograms last time we weighed it. Okay, I'm going to take this one out the way. I'm going to use the black one to demonstrate. We'll go from there. Okay, so just the basic size and shape of it. It's an awkward implement. I'm going to start off with just the average person may not have good stances or good position in their body, good flexibility. Dropping into shikodachi, holding the kongoken against the knees, keeping good shape and position. From there, holding it the other way. Same thing. Okay, so these are basic ideas to get used to the kongoken. Next idea you can have is manhandling it. It's a big weight, and you're essentially going to just try manhandle the weight. Okay? So the importance of manhandling the kongoken is getting used to the awkwardness created by the large length. When that goes on a horizontal plane, you're getting a high degree of torque, and so it is starting to work the various muscles in the arms and the shoulders. You're also working on grip strength, better for grabbing and for holding and for pulling onto your opponent. Picking up, putting down is a safety feature. So typically what we say to people is put it down, roll it, don't drop it on your toes. Imagine 40 kilograms hitting your toes. You're going to have blue toes, or maybe even if you're on a solid surface, a wooden floor that's got no give, you damage the floor and you maybe lose a toe. Bending the knees, learning to pick up and to manhandle and to put down gently. This protects the floor and yourself. Okay, classical exercises. First exercise, stepping back, zenkutsudachi, pulling the kongoken or letting the kongoken fall to your chest. You normally do this with a partner. So you would step up, push, your partner would receive, catch. So push and throw, push and throw. So this would be the one-person variant of the drill. Okay? Back, forward, back, forward. Back, forward. Okay, so we're just playing with the kongoken. Obviously with a partner you'd be playing pass. Next classical exercise can be done on its own. Probably the most important kongoken exercise. It's really useful to have a very rounded kongoken for this exercise. The more square the kongoken, I have 4 kongokens that came from the Peter Vale dojo, and they have a very square end, and the kongoken tends to jump a little bit, but it's basically rotation, rotation. Common mistake. Try back straight. And again, it's about maintaining your posture as you're doing this particular exercise. Rotating. Please mind your elbows. What tends to happen is that people will rotate and they'll bump their arm in a straightened position, and the weight and the torque carries through, and you basically damage something called the olecranon. You might inflame it, or you might even break it, and that can be really painful. So please be careful. It is a weight, and it needs to be treated with a lot of respect. And you would just continue with this particular exercise like that. So our first exercise, pushing exercise. Second exercise, rotating the kongoken. We like the pass shift exercise. Basically, pick up the weight, step, pass, partner steps, pass back to you. So out and back. Try to keep the chishi up, or not the chishi, the kongoken up the entire time. Okay? You can see it takes a little bit of air out of the body. Next exercise, from the warm-ups. Tilting this so you can see my face. From the warm-ups, we have the thrusting drills. Okay, and drop to shikodachi and just push up. So these are some of the more classical exercises that you will see with the Kongoken. Now, we can take the same things, same principles, and work with plate weight. So, first exercise. Second exercise. Third exercise. Manhandling or manhandling the plate weight. All of this is designed to work on the hands, the grip strength, arms, body posture. So sometimes we don't have enough Kongoken that are small enough to go around. We have about 6 or 10 of these cutout plate weights that the students use, and they do the same drills, 10 kilograms. It lacks the awkwardness. Okay, I'm going to go into the awkward Kongoken exercises. These are not practiced as frequently for a couple of reasons. One, they're awkward. Two, some people don't like some of the exercises because of the body contact. So, a very, very common exercise seen by people doing the Kongoken type training. You can see how much harder it is with a flat-bottomed Kongoken versus a very curved Kongoken, is the turning and spinning exercise. Okay? What happens is the Kongoken starts whacking you all over the place rather than the desired spots. Deep down, my personal feeling on some of these exercises, you're doing conditioning with something. If you're in that top 1.6% of martial artists out there who are not going to be teachers, who are going to be the greatest, best martial artist you can be, and if you're young enough to recover from it fast enough, then by all means go for it. But I'm not a fan of bashing your body with a very heavy weight that is uncontrolled. For a simple reason, injury. So, in a controlled way, yes, turning, rolling the chishi or the Kongoken and hitting yourself, maybe there is something. But I'm not a great fan of it from a medical point of view as well as from a sports science point of view. There are better ways to do physical conditioning. However, rotations for the effective grip strength, I think is a very good idea. And I think that although the Kongoken is useful for this and working on the grip strength, I think maybe training with the chishi might be a better option, or training with the sledgehammer may be a better option, especially in development of the forearm. Okay, the next exercises, a little bit more awkward. There we go. You will often see people doing the Kongoken on their back and either holding with their hands and that. Now, please note what's happening to my lower back. To do this, what tends to happen is my buttocks go out, my lower back goes in, and then you'll find people doing squats, etc. If you are planning on doing squats, from an economic point of view, having barbell and weights is cheaper than a Kongoken, to be quite honest. And if you're doing squats, it is safer and better because you don't have the second limb pressing on your back, which will result in excessive curvature of the spine. Not a fan of those exercises. I've seen them a lot, been made to do them a couple of times. He's trying to get the most out of a big weight when a dojo doesn't possess other weights. So if you have other weights, rather use them. Okay, so then you would rather have somebody doing squats in shikodachi or more classically, these kind of squats. All right. If you don't have barbells, but you do have kettlebells or dumbbells, you can do the exact same thing. Just hold the weight high up. That way you're getting the best out of those exercises without putting your body at risk. Remember, the top, call it 4%, become instructors and senior practitioners. Of that 4%, 1.6%, I think, no, it's about 3.2 and 1.6. The top 1.6% are the people who are willing to put their body on the line to have the ultimate martial arts body. Then you can do these exercises. But if you're a youngster watching somewhere in the world, please always consider that the dojo-kun says you must train according to your physical strength, take into account what you can and what you can't do, and you need to look after your health, take care of your health. Another clause in our dojo-kun. You have to train accordingly, and if science and equipment has evolved significantly to allow you to do an exercise better and more accurately with less likelihood of injury, then rather train with another implement. Rather train with 15 different implements in the dojo to attain something good and wholesome for your body than try and create 15 exercises with the Kongoken because it's the heaviest implement in your dojo. So from that point of view, my Kongokens are extensively used only for the first couple of drills that I showed, and we don't do too much of the other exercises for a couple of health reasons. Okay, let me put this down for a sec.
12 seconds later.
I'm significantly, I know this bug sensor, Zoe, or hashtag blessed. We've worked very hard to acquire new equipment over many decades. We have very large punch bags. This one weighs approximately 100 kilograms. Remember that shoulder exercise? Well, it's maybe a bit of a better idea. Okay, I'm going to do it from the side. Usually you see Sensei Higawana doing this with his partner and bashing backs against one another. But if you want to hit something and you want to still allow your body to be conditioned, it may be a good idea to hit something that's a little bit softer but heavier. Because the end point is, why do we practice this? We practice this shoulder exercise that we use on the Kongoken. We practice it so we can hit somebody with the shoulder barge or the shoulder ram in bunkai. That is the end point. The end point is not just bashing your body for the sake of bashing your body. So the other implement that gets used extensively is the axle in very classical Okinawan Goju dojos. And you've got to look at the origin of the axle. So thick, round wooden shaft, probably off of a trolley of sorts that would be used on the docks to push and manhandle freight, larger items. And when these were discarded as junk, the karate people went and said, oh, junk, we could use that as a barbell. We can use it. The only difference is it's got a very, very thick handle. So that has its advantage that you can work on. But you could basically do rolling exercises with a bar. A thin bar is just going to really hurt quite a lot. There is an exercise where they roll the bar down the back onto the arms and roll it back and forth, which is quite common. And then there is an exercise where they rotate. Okay, and you saw me doing something similar with the Kongoken. So the basic rotation exercise is the same as rotate, rotate, rotate. Reason for this rotation is, again, the same as this exercise, but at a higher torque level to practice throws. And the significant thing you should train with it is mawashi uke, or movements like this from sepai or from san seru. I'm just going to this kind of movement, so that you're getting used to the idea of leveraging and rotating somebody using your arms. Obviously, there are a couple of technical things that help when you do it with a partner, but growing stronger is always a good thing, because the resistance training, one of the first things that's going to happen is strengthening in the actual joint, what we call a synovial joint, and the ligaments, etc., in the joint will become stronger. And that means you're going to become less likely to get injured. The other thing that's going to happen with correct resistance apparatus and stretching, you're going to increase the range of motion on the joint, which is again going to limit your susceptibility to an injury. So you have to do these things together. A lot of people struggle with the idea that they just want to get stronger. But strength is insignificant if you do not have flexibility, especially in something as functional as a martial art. It doesn't matter what martial art we're talking about now. Your strength training has to be coupled with flexibility training so that it is functional relative to the art that you're doing. And we do something that is essentially functional. Some more exercises that you will see. I'm without a partner, but you can do the push-up, inverted, or the bench press. You can have a partner on the actual Kongoken. So I drop, press up, my partner does a push-up. My partner would hold about here, and their toes would be on the cross beam, so that the Kongoken does not slide. That's one idea. Next idea with the Kongoken on the floor is the idea of press-ups. Another classical idea with the Kongoken. The next exercise comes from Sensei Chinen, and it was done either as a single person or as a double person drill. So it is a coupling of the rotation exercise plus groundwork or break falling. So you would essentially roll and get up, foot underneath, roll and get up, foot underneath, roll and get up. And when you get up into a good shikodachi. So a couple of ideas on the lesser known Goju apparatus, the Kongoken, which I have called Chishi several times today. And the reason why some of the ideas may be changed, should be considered to be changed from a medical point of view and a sports science point of view, in terms of susceptibility to injury, etc. When it comes to bone or body conditioning, where you are trying to make the body harder and more resilient to blows and strikes, there is an argument in favor of the physical contact, the koikatai and the ude tanden type training. And there is a significant argument to say that load-bearing exercises will achieve stronger, healthier bones over time. So if you happen to be prone to osteoporosis, St. Joseph's disease, etc., you may find that it is more beneficial to actually do load-bearing exercise and not necessarily physically bone conditioning. I like the idea of ude tanden. I think it is something that can be done constructively and can help load the body in a certain way. I think it's got a very important facet in survival, in enduring discomfort, as well as in getting the neural system a little bit used to the shock and the reverberation. I think the shock and the reverberation in the body is an important thing. Like I said, I don't like the swinging exercise. I'm very, very circumspect, especially when it hits on the back of the arm and the arm is straightening, that something is going to happen to the back of this arm. I would prefer to hit a bag, makiwara, or a crash mannequin, or a standing bag, so that you can condition the joint from the blow, and you can protect the joint, or from the blow, or the actual joint by hitting and slamming, so you're practicing that shoulder barge. The ideas of doing exercises that put you in an awkward position, damage or affect your posture, I'm very, very circumspect about as well, because I think posture is an important thing that we need to maintain. I think that you should train this alongside with flexibility. And if you have the equipment and you have more equipment that allows you to do an exercise more safely, I would err on doing an exercise more safely rather than trying to make the Kongoken into your one apparatus for everything kind of scenario. There are times in my dojo where instead of using the Kongoken, we use plate weight, and instead of using Kongoken, we might use 2 kettlebells, and we achieve the same outcome in terms of sports science. Yes, we have then deviated from the classical and the preserved exercises. But I think what we need to look at is the reason why the Kongoken was used in that environment in the first place when Miyagi-sensei was working with it. I think we have moved on significantly. The other thing to consider is the sheer cost of having a Kongoken in your dojo, and what that cost actually means, how much money you're going to be out of pocket to fabricate a decent steel Kongoken, or are you going to have a set of plastic tubes that are glued together and filled with sand or cement, and that you run the risk of breaking them while using them, and then you're back to square one. So if you find that it is more affordable to find another piece of apparatus, another piece of equipment that does the same thing, then that's what you need to do, because we are not recycling. I brought this up with the ishisashi. We're not recycling bits of household junk and using them for training anymore. And in terms of keeping ishisashi alive, it's very, very difficult unless you have got somebody who's an engineer who's doing metal work to fabricate something similar, when you could quite easily go down to the local sports depot and go and buy yourself a set of kettlebells that'll work exactly the same. In terms of your time and your money invested, I think it might be a more wise decision to go that route. Keep the exercise, but change the implement to something that is affordable, viable, and safe. All right, that's it on the Kongoken. Good luck, have an awesome week. Arigato gozaimasu. Sayonara. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hopefully when I have a partner in the dojo, I'll do the drills again with a partner so you can see what it looks like. Always remember, by the way, one more thing, that volume over a large period of time is how these implements work their best. So it's not doing 10 reps, but more like doing 10 minutes of reps that are going to make the body feel that it is truly working. Sayonara.